Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, Reading in the Dark. Byron here. Very quick video here, very spur of the moment video here. It is actually Monday, August 20th at almost 10 p.m. my time. This probably won't even make it up until like 11, maybe even midnight of the 21st. And I'm actually going to be following Acacia Ives' lead and announcing my participation in Thriller-A-Thon, Summer Edition 2018. This is a readathon for thriller books that is hosted by Harriet Rosie, whose channel I will link down below. Thriller-A-Thon is kind of right up my alley. I have quite a few thrillers sitting in my TBR, and I thought I may as well go ahead and read them. I didn't quite finish all of the books I was supposed to read in BookTube-A-Thon because life intervened. I think this week might work a little bit better for a readathon. Also, this is a 6-day readathon instead of a 7-day readathon, and there are 5 challenges instead of 7. So 5 books in 6 days seems doable, and it seems to me that most of the thrillers, that at least the ones that I have, are shorter books. So I'm going to enter this readathon, and I think I stand a good chance of actually completing this one. Although before I can begin it, I have to finish BookTube-A-Thon. So tonight I am beginning to read the last book in my BookTube-A-Thon challenge, which was Hannah Green and Her Unfeasibly Mundane Existence by Michael Marshall Smith. I'm going to start reading that in just a couple of minutes, actually. And then I'm going to get started in earnest on Thriller-A-Thon. So the Thriller-A-Thon challenges are as follows. 1, read the thriller you're most anticipating. 2, read the thriller that's been on your TBR the longest. 3, read the thriller that you most recently added to your TBR. 4, read the thriller with the best cover. And 5, revisit a thriller book or author. So for the first challenge, read the thriller that you're most anticipating, I'm going to just jump on the train with everybody. And since I bought this book on sale for $4 a while ago and have yet to read it and everyone else and their mother has, I'm going to go ahead and make my first book of Thriller-A-Thon the ever popular The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. I know, groan, nobody wants to hear anyone else talk about this book, although apparently lots of people think it's amazing. I considered using this for the best cover because although it's very sparse, I do kind of think it's a clever cover. But in all honesty, although I don't actually know much about the plot, and I wouldn't say that I specifically have been looking forward to the story of this book, I've just been hearing about it so much. This is the one I've been anticipating most. So that's the first one I'm going to read for a Thriller-A-Thon. The second challenge says, read the thriller that's been on your TBR the longest. Well, that was a very easy question to answer. I bought this, which you can't read, really. Here we go. Yep, there it is. This is like a Barnes & Noble edition of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, or Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I bought this at Barnes & Noble. I don't even know when. It was so incredibly long ago. I was like, maybe I was living in New York. I don't even remember. It was probably 10 years ago. I've had this forever. It has deckled edges on it, which I think are really cool. And yeah, so this is not that long, and I'm going to read this second for the thriller that's been on my TBR the longest. And that'll be the only physical book for this challenge. The third challenge says, read the thriller that you most recently added to your TBR. And that, for me, is a book called Stillhouse Lake by Rachel Kane. It is the first book in a series based on Stillhouse Lake. So the title of it on Goodreads is Stillhouse Lake, parenthesis, Stillhouse Lake #1. So that's what I most recently added, and I think I got them both on sale, and I thought, oh, okay, sure, a little thriller series, why not? And it's the most recent one I added, so that is going to be my third book for the challenge. The fourth challenge says to read the thriller with the best cover, and for this book, I have actually chosen to read a sci-fi thriller that I have been really intrigued by for a while, mostly based on the cover, and that's All Systems Red by Martha Wells. This is about, I think there's a team of miners on another planet who there's something going wrong with their sister operation and they need to investigate it with the help of their company-supplied android, which I think might be the narrator of the book. The narrator, I think, is the AI of the android, which refers to itself as Murderbot, but only to itself, so they don't know that it calls itself Murderbot. So obviously there's going to be some sort of interesting happenings involving Murderbot, because if it's called Murderbot, I don't know, murder, maybe. Also, apparently he doesn't like humans very much. So it's referred to as a thriller by one of the blurbs on the back of the book. And I've been really looking forward to it based on the cover. I think the cover is awesome. It's creepy. I can't tell. I guess we're maybe in some sort of forest. And there's an android robot imposing looking thing there. I like the title. And so that is the thriller with the best cover on my TBR anyway, that I'm going to read for the 4th challenge. The 5th challenge says to revisit a thriller book or author. And I considered reading another book by Christopher Rice, because I've read one of his books and I'm intrigued to read. I read The Snow Garden and wanted to read A Density of Souls, but for some reason I'm just kind of not in that vibe right now. And so I decided that I would go back to the first book I ever read by Tess Gerritsen entitled Gravity, which is follows, I think, a medical doctor, I'm not sure, on the International Space Station where there's an outbreak of an alien extraterrestrial virus that's killing off astronauts one at a time. And she has to figure out, how to get out of this mess, and they're trying to rescue her and bring her back to Earth. And this was the first book I ever read by Tess Gerritsen since I have read every single book she's written, including every romantic suspense novel she ever wrote. So it'll be really interesting to go back and read this, which is one of her most popular and well-reviewed books. I actually gave a copy of this book to my dad, and I recommend it to everybody. Her interview about this book on the radio show called Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell was the reason I discovered her in the first place. And I've been meaning to reread this book for a long time, and I am hoping that I love it as much as I remember loving it. I'm excited to read more Tess Gerritsen. I haven't read a book. I don't think there's anything left of hers that I haven't read. The last book of hers that I read was the 12th book in the Rizzolian Isles series called I Know a Secret, which I really enjoyed, and it was a nice reminder that I really enjoy being inside her brain. So I am excited to revisit not just the author, but the actual book that I have read before, but it was about 10 years ago, actually, because I believe it was in 2008, Gravity by Tess Gerritsen, which is definitely like a medical thriller / slightly sci-fi-ish thriller. And those are my books. So my books for the Thriller-A-Thon 2018 are The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn, Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, Stillhouse Lake by Rachel Kane, All Systems Red by Martha Wells, and Gravity by Tess Gerritsen. And I will begin reading these books as soon as I possibly can, with every intention of finishing them all by the 26th. I would like to thank Harriet Rosie for hosting this readathon. I kind of was excited by how much progress I made in my reading during BookTube-A-Thon. I ended up being really ahead of my reading goal. And all it took was like some outside force saying, read. So I decided maybe another readathon would be good for me. So that's what I'm going to do. I feel a little bit crazy. I don't know if it's the chocolate talking or all of the coffee talking. But yeah, I'm going to start another readathon before I even finish the first one, because that's just the kind of kooky guy I am. And that is my TBR for the 2018 Summer Thriller-A-Thon, and I'm looking forward to getting started. So if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel if you feel so inclined, and until next time, remember to read more books, drink more coffee, read more thrillers, and check out those links in the description below. And until next time, happy reading.